the intro as I planned. Okay, here we are. So this is going to be a slightly different video to what you guys are normally used to. Let me just bring this down a touch. Now, first, excuse the state of me, just got back from the gym and just trying to record this video while things are fresh in my mind. Now, the reason for this video is a couple of things. It's going to be a bit of waffling, so just bear with me. It's going to be a little bit of me just venting and letting off a bit of steam, and also me talking about my past experiences and previous experiences during silly season and how it's affected me and what sort of things I've done to overcome certain obstacles and certain pressures, and how I'm hoping that this silly season will go for me. And what I'd like really out of this video is for me to, obviously, ideally it'd be nice to, if this was like a live and we could do a back and forth conversation with other people, but drop comments, give me your feedback. Let me know what you've done throughout silly season. Let me know how you've coped with it, what sort of measures you've taken, what your sort of tactic is, etc. Because silly season is here now. The way I see it, my phone, since September started, my phone has not stopped ringing. For some reason, it happens every year. It's not even that cold yet, but people are putting the heating on and all of a sudden things aren't working as they should be or whatever. Or I'm getting phone calls from people saying, oh, I want to book you in for my boiler service. And first thing, this is key. First thing, you want to ask any customer that calls you up for boiler service is everything working? If they say yes, give them a date 2 or 3 weeks in advance, 2 or 3 weeks ahead. Then if they say, oh, but I've got this problem, that will indicate to you that they're not calling you because they want a boiler service. There's a problem with the boiler and they think that a service is going to rectify it. Now, note to all customers watching this video, all homeowners watching this video, a service is not a repair. When there's a problem with your car, you don't take it into the garage for a service. You take it into the garage for a diagnostic check, a repair. If something is picked up during a service, that's classed as additional works. If it's something minor, when you're draining down the boiler, for example, changing a pressure sensor, you've got one on the van, I'm not going to charge extra labor for that because the boiler's already drained out. It's part of the service. I'm just going to charge for the part. But if the diverter valve is faulty or the pump's faulty, then there is a little bit more extra work involved in that. So then that's then classed as a separate job. So both homeowners and fellow engineers, be aware that a service and a repair are not the same thing. And when someone calls you up for a boiler service, I always give them a date 2 or 3 weeks in advance. That will tell me whether everything is actually working fine and they're happy to wait and there's no immediate urgency, or they'll say to you, no, but I've got this problem, I need this looked at sooner. That's then classed as a repair. So just be aware of these sort of things, because people start to panic when the weather turns a bit and they'll want you at the drop of the hat. And I can already feel it creeping up on me, that sort of stress, anxiety, and that kind of happens every year. It always happens around this time of year because it's when silly season's just getting into it and I'm being used to a slightly quieter period and being able to manage my diary more effectively, to all of a sudden, bang, 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 bang. Like literally it's like a machine gun, because I've been on a 2-day install away from home. I was working down in Twickenham, and I'll be honest, I think that's probably going to be one of the last jobs I'm going to do, which is that far away. Because before it was okay when Arian wasn't at school, but now he's at school, I've got to be there to do the school drop-offs and stuff, and it's difficult. It's not fair on Nikki to have to do that unless it's a very sizable job and it's a very lucrative job, then I'll consider it. But I want to be around my family. I don't want to be staying away for work, because I work long hours as it is, and then having to stay away from my family, even if it's just one night, it affects me. I feel it. I came home today, Irene was asleep, Nikki was putting Jessica to sleep, managed to get a quick cuddle, and yeah. So I've basically not seen them properly since Sunday night, Monday morning. And the way silly season goes, it's kind of like a snowball effect. It just grows and grows, and it's up to us to try and not let that consume us and bring us back down to reality and know what's right for us. Because look, work is always going to be there. Work is always going to be there. There's enough work to go around. Like I said in the intro of my last video, there's that pie is big enough for everyone to eat. Like, I'm talking everyone. So if you're struggling to get to a job, and if it's one of your existing customers and you're afraid of not letting that customer down, get a colleague to go and do it. Get a colleague to go and look at it. If I've got a customer of mine that I can't get to, I'm going to call Josh. I'm going to call one of my other mates that are local to me and say, look, guys, I can't get to it. Can you, you charge what you're going to charge, because I'm passing the job on to you at the moment. But you got to have that trust that they're helping you out. They're not going to steal your customer. Me and my colleagues / friends, we don't work that way. We're not there to nick work off each other. We're there to help each other out in sticky situations when it comes to silly season. So get someone else to go and service that customer's needs if you can't get there, because that way you know that the customer's getting satisfied. Sounds a bit wrong, but whatever. You know that the customer's getting their job done, they're getting their problem sorted, they're not having to go elsewhere, they're still going to come back to you in the future, because even though you've not been able to get there, you've managed to get someone there who's been able to sort the problem out, and they will appreciate that. When it comes to new customers, like I said again in the beginning of my last video, and any new prospective customers watching this video, please don't take any offense. Like I said, I am a one-man band. I work on my own. I have a young family, and I can only get to so many jobs in a 24-hour period. And when it comes to emergencies, my existing customers will take priority. New customers, if I've got time, if I can fit you in, if I can squeeze you in, I will. I have no reason to turn away work. Being self-employed means you're afraid of turning away work because you think you're not going to get that work back again. And it's that fear of not getting more work that leads us to say yes to everything. And then when you say yes to everything, you can't get around to everything. And then you start letting people down. And then that kind of can create a bit of a bad rep for yourself. Whereas if you're upfront and honest with people and say, look, I'm really sorry, I'm fully booked up at the moment, I can't get to you, you've got either two options. You can either recommend someone else, give them someone else's number, or you simply just say, I'm really sorry, I'm not available, you're going to have to find someone else on this occasion. Now that customer may or may not come back to you again in the future, which is fine. If it's a brand new customer, you technically haven't lost anything, because there's nothing that was there initially. With existing customers, you want to try and obviously look after them a little bit more. And I'm sorry if it sounds selfish, but I have to be selfish. We have to be selfish, because at the end of the day, God forbid, touch wood, if I was to drop dead tomorrow and one of my existing customers or a new customer called and obviously they got the news, yes, they might be like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But what's the next thing they're going to do? They're just going to call the next person. So as much as you are their sort of savior and person in need, you are just a person. And if you can't get there, someone else will. So there's no reason to break your back, break your mind trying to get to everywhere, because it's just physically not possible. It's physically not possible. Like, mentally, it really plays a toll on you. If I go into my WhatsApp now and I look at how many unread messages I've got, It's in, well, some of them are group chats, so we won't count those, but okay. I've got 27 unread messages at the moment, as in 27 chats unread. There's obviously multiple messages in those chats, but I've got 27 unread chats. Text messages, I've got, yeah, loads. I've got people messaging me 2 days ago and I've not got back to them. And that's the other thing. Like, when you're known for being reactive, which is what I am, I'm a jobbing guy. So I'm known to be reactive, and usually I can get around to someone either the same day or within a 24-hour period. Excuse me. When you're stuck on a big job, a 2-day job, mentally you're just thinking, I'm losing 2 days of work. Even though you know you're getting paid for the work that you're doing, you feel like you're letting your other customers down because you're stuck on this job. You can't get to them now. And that's kind of how I've felt these last 2 days. That it's just been relentless, and I've just been having to tell people, I can't get to you, I can't get to you, I can't get to you. My next available date, so considering today's the 1st of October, the next available date that I've got to book in any work currently is the 18th. No, that's booked up. I need to move that over because I accidentally put that on a Saturday. That's meant to be on the Friday. That's a boiler install. So from the 1st of October, which is today, my next available day to book in any further works or any work at the moment is the 21st of October. It's 3 weeks. I'm booked for 3 weeks. I've never booked that much. Being a jobbing breakdown engineer, I've never booked that far in advance. But it's just the way things are. I'm having to book that far in advance. I mean, there's gaps that I've got in the coming weeks where I might be able to squeeze certain things in, but yeah, it's I'm struggling at the moment to keep up with my diary. I'm struggling at the moment to keep up with messages. I'm struggling at the moment to get back to people. It's long hours, long days, and it's a lot of the times, you know how it is. It's not just a case of just getting back to someone. There's always a follow-up or this, that, the other, and I don't know if homeowners and customers genuinely understand the pressure that we get put under during silly season, because it takes a big toll on your mental health, your physical health, everything. Like a couple of years ago, I had a mental breakdown. By the time it was Christmas, I was finished. Like, I was completely brain dead. Because at that point, I was saying yes to everything, because I think it was my first year of being self-employed. And I was afraid to say no. And that was a massive learning curve for me. And it's good that it happened, because it made me realize that after that year, I didn't do that again, because I was a broken man by Christmas. And since I've gone self-employed, I've always taken the week off between Christmas and New Year's, unless it's an absolute emergency. And do you know what? I've not actually ever been called out between Christmas and New Year's. And unless it was an absolute emergency, I wouldn't entertain it until the new year. And that's because I need that time. I need that 1 week off with my family. I just want it off. Everyone else gets Christmas week off. Why shouldn't I? If you're employed, you get Christmas week off. Why can't I get Christmas week off? You know? If your car's stopped working for whatever reason, the garage is shut, what can you do? You just got to wait. Same. Like, you can call someone else, but if it's between Christmas and New Year's, I'm going to be taking that time off again, as I do every year. And I find it really helps me reset mentally and physically, because I'm just not thinking about work. And I really don't think about work. And it's really relaxing mentally to not have to worry about, I've got to do this. I might do, like, obviously a bit of stuff behind me, like sorting out the shed, you know, stuff at home. Maybe worky related stuff, but not work, if that makes sense. But yeah, So that's my sort of take on how I cope with silly season and how I've survived it. Let me know what you guys think. What's your sort of tactics? What do you guys do? How do you cope and survive through silly season? I'm sure everyone's got their own ways, and it'll be great for you guys to drop comments and let other people read them as well, because I'm sure there's people who are new to the game, there's people who haven't been through silly season before, or people who have gone through silly season but have struggled to sort of keep up with it. And I think it'll be good for people to just sort of share ideas on how we get through this sort of busy period, because it is stressful. Let's be honest. As much as it's great in terms of finances, like I make a killing during silly season, which then allows me to take the foot off the gas during summer. And when it's a bit quiet, I'm not worried if I haven't got that work. I'm not worried if my whole week's not booked up. You know, if I've got one job in a day, I'm not worried, because I've worked my fingers to the bone throughout the winter, and I've made my money, because it's seasonal work that we do. I make my money between now and, let's say, February is when I make pretty much most of my year's income. And then when it gets to the quieter period, I'm still working, but it's just not as busy, and that's fine, because if it was that busy all year round, trust me, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. I'd probably be 6 feet under, because no one can do that for like I work 5 days a week. I take weekends off, except last Saturday I had to work. And that's another thing, you got to have something for yourself to be able to step away from the world. For me, is going to the gym. 1 hour in there, my phone goes on silent, goes in the bag. I've just got my headphones on, zone out. Literally, I put it on do not disturb so that only Nikki or my parents can call me as emergency contacts in case there's a problem. If anyone else calls, I won't even get a notification. And I need that 1 hour release away from the world, switch off the world and just focus on yourself. You might have whatever. You might play football, you might play a sport, you might be into gaming, whatever, but have something, you know, ideally 1 hour a day, which will just take you away from the world and allow you to just be free in your head. Now, finally, a few tips on what sort of stock to keep during silly season, because you want to be doing first time fixes. I've had people say to me, that's not a very good business strategy by doing first time fixes, because you can charge a call out, then you charge again for a second visit. Listen, if you're good at your job, you're going to be so busy, you are not going to have time to go back to a property. So have the van stock ready. If that's how you operate, that's perfectly fine. But if you're good at your job, you're going to be busy. You're not going to have time. So you want to keep that van stock ready and prepared so that you can do first time fixes. You can charge a little bit more, charge a bit of a premium. Don't charge double, because then that's the sort of, you know, when people say cowboy tradespeople and this, that, it's that you're just trying to make money for the sake of making money. No, just get the job done, move on tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to bring a fresh set of problems and breakdowns that you're going to have to deal with. You're not going to have time, because if you try and do that, then those jobs tomorrow are going to get pushed to the next day and next day and next day. And it's just going to be a constant snowball effect. And that's not the way you want to operate your business. Excuse me. You want to be able to be in and out, get the job done, get it fixed, first time, customers happy, you got paid, move on to the next one, because the jobs are going to be coming left, right and center. So generally, what I tend to keep on the van, and the cheaper stuff, I keep probably about 5 or 6 of each. So I don't know, I've got something stuck in my throat. Probably a bit of kiwi. Pressure sensors. And I'm just talking in general, pressure sensors, mainly valence, but in general, you want to keep like 5 or 6 pressure sensors, AAVs, again, various different boilers, PRVs, maybe some electrodes, diverter valves, diverter cartridges. What else? Let's say for Worcester's, burner gaskets, electrodes, because you might go to one, it might be a service, or you might do a sweep test on the kebab and it's spilling. You don't want to then turn that boiler off. If you've got the burner seal and the electrode, just change it there and then. Gas tube for Worcester's. bearing plate for Worcesters, because if you've got to do that, you've got to take the whole fan out. You take the fan out, you might find out the gas tube is split. Have the gas tube on you. What else do I come across a lot? I said PRVs, AAVs, diverter cartridges, diverter valves, spark generators, vaillant PCBs. Now I know they're expensive, so it's up to you. Pumps, silly season, pumps are going to be going, because it depends what kind of system some people have got. They may not have used them. The pumps might be getting seized. Zone valves, 2 ports, 3 ports, synchron motors, because synchron motors will get you out of trouble a lot. I find I very rarely have to change 2-port bodies. It's usually just a synchron motor. 3 ports, if they're letting by changing the synchron motor, won't really do anything, because if that spindle is seized, even if you free it up, more than likely it's going to let by. So for 3 ports, you're more than likely going to have to change the head. Thermostats, have a range of thermostats, analog ones, digital ones, wireless ones, programmable ones. Like, just keep one of each of those, because you don't know what kind of customer you're going to go to. Like elderly customers, they've got analog, the dial click ones, they just prefer that. You know how many of those knobs just snap. It takes you 5 minutes to replace it. Programmers, have a program on the van, twin channel, single channel, just get you out of trouble. What else? Valves, push fit caps, stuff like this, stuff that you can use to make safe. What else? What have I got behind me? What have I got behind me? What else? I said diverter valves, diverter motors, Worcesters. I said PRVs. Just the list is, it can get pretty long, but flue seals, vaillant turret seals, keep them on the van, the 80mm ones. Some isolation valves for the boiler. So for valence, we know that sometimes the filling loop and the filling loop lets by, so you got the cold and the flow isolation valve. I keep one of those on the van. Yeah, just general things like O-rings, washers, stuff like that. Stuff which is not so expensive, you can keep multiple stock of on your van, and things that will get you first time fixing and get you out of trouble, because you do not want to be going back to the same job again when you've got a whole list of jobs to get through. So, and I know I said so, I don't think I've said so that much in this video, but I hope this video has been helpful. I hope this video has been useful. I hope it's been interesting. I hope we can get a bit of dialogue going in the comment section, trade tips and tricks and just advice for everyone. Like I said, I've not been doing it as long as a lot of you veterans out there, so any advice that you can give us, we're much appreciated. I've given my 2 pence, and that's just from the last few years of my experience, and I hope that helps anyone new coming to the trade and starting off in silly season. Because when I went self-employed, my first day of self-employment was actually today, 1st of October, 3 years ago. Bloody hell. Yeah, 3 years today I've been self-employed. That's mad. That's crazy. I didn't even realize that was the 1st of October today. Look at that. Right. It is 11:15. I'm going to go and have some dinner. This is usually the time I have dinner. Get into bed. I've got power flush tomorrow. I've got jobs booked for Friday. What day is it today? Today's Tuesday. See, this is what I mean. You lose track of the time, the day, everything. So don't let things get to you. Take on as much as you can. Whatever you can't take on, politely refuse the job. If the customer's not prepared to wait, try and give them a recommendation of someone else. Or if it's not in your area, then just say, look, I'm really sorry, I can't help on this occasion. You're going to have to find someone else. Customers will appreciate honesty rather than being let down. So make of that what you will. And any customers watching, please understand that we're all busy this time of year. So you're just going to have to bear with us. We will try. We genuinely do want to get around to you. We do genuinely want to help you. But you have to understand, we're all human and we can only do so much. So I hope you all understand that as well. And I hope you fellow engineers have found this video useful. Let's make silly season a good one. Let's not have a mental breakdown. Let's get to Christmas. Let's enjoy Christmas. And let's get into the new year. Hit the ground running. Laters. Oh!